Rick Berman, who took over from Gene as executive producer, was more interested in these things, as all of us were, and so it enabled us to deal with current issues, societal issues, in ways that interested us and that we could put our own selves behind in a strong way. And with all respect to Gene, whom we all love and adore, but we wouldn't be here. Even you, even you, I went off to Gene wrong, but I think the show became perhaps more interesting.
Anybody else want to take that on? Does anybody else want to take that on? Because I completed. I'm sorry, Marina. I'm so sorry.
The truth is that if Gene was alive, had been alive, DS9 would never been made, because he absolutely said no to it when it was presented to him. He said, Star Trek is about exploring space, it's not about a hotel in space. So it would never have happened. So whether you like Deep Sleep Nine or not, listen, Jonathan calls it Deep Throat Night, so look.
That was a wholehearted yell.
So, yes, there was a big difference when Gene passed away, the direction that the show went.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
you know what? I think there's always been something of an illusion. I mean, yes, the majority of people, if you would ask why Star Trek has lasted as long as it has, the answer is generally because it depicts a positive vision of the future. And to a degree, that's true. But I think always, on your show as well, Bill, people were getting blown out of the sky. And, you know, it was a very peaceful time. But it was always war and explosions and massive death. And so I don't know, it seemed always an illusion to me that it was this very peaceful, positive time.
I think for me, the part that was Gene Roddenberry was the Prime Directive. I actually think that was so brilliant. And I loved the conflict that would happen between, for example, my character and the captain, where I was going, I'm a doctor, I want to get involved, I want to help people, and he's going, yes, Mr. Prime Director. I think it was so thought-provoking, and it got people to think about issues in the same way that be it the host, you know, what is love? That's what I think Gene's vision really had, and whether it was more, whether it got darker, or whether, no matter what happened, that to me is what made it quite remarkable, and it can sort of continue through all the shows. The Prime Directive is a pretty amazing idea, you know?
In this last year, I completed a documentary on this very subject called Chaos on the Bridge, in which I examined this very question. And the question was, Gene Roddenberry had issued an edict that in the 400 years from now, there would be no conflict among people, and therefore no conflict in the crew of the Enterprise. And the writers all said, if there's no conflict, what do we do? And in that chaos, in the first 2 years, this documentary, Chaos on the Bridge, takes place. After the second year, when Gene died and Mr. Berman took over, that edict was dispensed with and began the conflict of what you're saying now. The darker picture emerged as Michael Piller and other producers lent their vision to Star Trek, and it became more dynamic in its conflict. And Chaos on the Bridge is going to be shown soon on the network.
I think there was always, by the way, to give Rick credit, he was always respectful of Gene's vision. It was never just, oh, forget what Gene, we could hear him saying, "No, I don't think Gene would want us to do that." And so he did always respect it as well.
Absolutely.
He just widened it a little bit.
And then widened it more. Next.